Siddharth,
Yes.
somebody in the future is going to read about this war in their history textbooks.
The current third Gulf War with Iran.
Yeah. How did you learn about the world wars?
So I think I learnt about it from the CBSE textbooks.
Okay.
But also at around that time in high school, Roald Dahl was a pilot with the British Air Force.
Ah, yeah.
And so apart from his books, novels, he'd also written books about flying and the joy of flying and exploits during the war, etc. And I think I got very interested in German tanks at some point of time. And I remember I did one of my history projects on one of the tank battles that happened between the Germans and the Soviet Union.
Oh.
Sometime, I think it was called the Battle of the Bulge or something like that. So I was quite fascinated by all of that. How did you learn about the World War?
I was homeschooled by the time I was learning about the wars. And so I had this giant thick book in our library at home, which covered both world wars, and I found it fascinating. It would give me accounts of different soldiers, and it had bits of evidence and communication. It was talk a lot about propaganda used in different ways, and the life of a citizen in those various spaces, and it was quite interesting. And that and Anne Frank was my first introduction to the wars.
Yeah.
And I found it horrifying and also scary and fascinating, as all of these things are. And as an adult, I've also learned every time we tell the story of the war, there are some gaps. Today I am not able to tell you what it feels like to be in this war in a very peripheral way. All I do is I get up in the morning and check what's happening in the news. But there's not really any direct effect on our lives.
Yeah, but I feel like one thing that I learned as I grew up and read more and met more people who have been at various ends of wars was how sort of clinical and detached what I learned in school was.
Yeah.
We didn't learn the human costs of war. And a quote that a friend of mine uses in her email signature, that until the lions have a historian, the stories of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. It's an African proverb that I was sort of unknowingly just happily reading from the frame of the winner of the war. And I think wars between nation states tend to be such high pressure times, times that leave large memories in people's, they take disproportionate space in people's memories, that even in India, I was a child during the Kargil war. My grandfather had been in the army.
Yeah.
He was well retired by the time Kargil happened. But it just takes up so much media space, so much mind space, that I think we tend to make some of our national identity upon these foundational wars. Yes, this was an us, this was them, and this was when India really won, and this was when some other country really did it well. So I just wonder, can we introduce children now to the idea of war through multiple stories, such that they're not only reading the hunter's version?
This reminds, the other place that I have been coming across war recently is Maria Montessori's writings.
Okay.
I've been reading her work in an effort to understand the Montessori system well enough. And she opens post-war, post-World War II. And she comes from this space of, my God, such craziness that man can be at war and have such violence. And it falls on us as educators to grow our children, to, the way she puts it is, allow children to find self well enough.
That they don't.
That they don't do this stupidity. I mean, I'm majorly paraphrasing that last bit. And it made me wonder, is anyone who is pro-war Montessori trained? Like, what is the history of the people who agree to go to war?
I think maybe that's a good point. Segue to our next session.
Yes.
So next time we'll discuss this. Thank you. What are your questions?